I mean, you had to be just on another plane of existence watching Trevor Lawrence in the
Static.
fourth quarter today.
Static. Dude, but I will say that when he got stuffed on the QB sneak and then he got strip sacked, I was like, oh God, here we go again. Here goes me on a Wednesday tweeting like 6 plays and people going like, oh, confirming your priors. You're always defending him. And then the fourth quarter happened, man. And it was it was fireworks. The firework factory happened. I do want to go through each and every one of those fourth down throws I tweeted today.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's go. All right. So this is the fourth quarter. This is just a fourth quarter. He had some other throws throughout the game. 2nd and 15. They're down 9 points at this point in time. They run stick not to Evan Ingram. So that's already, those words do not sound great coming out of my mouth. That's usually their explosive plays. I actually, if I had to segue this, I was going to say, speaking of poor weapons, but is the Jaguars.
Stick not is a little outbreaker for number 2, who then takes it vertical. Yeah.
Yeah, and the like when the Rams were struggling in 2020 to move the ball in there, they ran this. This was their way to get an explosive play. So they run the stick nod. It gets covered. Trevor moves in the pocket and finds the backside dig to Jamal Agnew, another name, for 17 yards. So okay, so that's already a great start right there. 3rd 2. Hits Zay Jones on a crosser. Another great name. That was the Raiders receiver like 3 last year. Hits Zay Jones on a crosser on mesh as he's getting kneecapped by Calais Campbell. Zay Jones is 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage because he got rerouted so badly on the crossing route. Okay, doesn't matter. Still finds a throw because he's a baller. 4th and 8, corner route to Zay Jones over Marcus Peters. That was just dropped in the bucket. And you like, after I tweeted these plays, the Jaguars fans were just saying, you should have heard the stadium after that throw. Like they said, it was just like gasps. Like, oh, like I didn't know you could do that. Later that play, they have a 3rd and 2, and they run this awesome man beater that Andy Reid and Doug Peterson love, where they cross the running back. It's usually in the red zone near the goal line. It's the running back cross releases into the flat, and Patrick Queen couldn't sort it out. Jermichael Hasty gets it, so that converts, but it was a great little play call. I love that design. I don't know why more teams don't run it. More teams have, but it's like that everybody should have that play in their playbook. Then 2nd and goal, short motion, fake crosser to Jamal Agnew. He runs a flat route. Perfect throw. Makes it a 2-point game. Okay, they get the ball back after a turnover, field goal. Now they're down 7 with under 2 minutes. I think they had no timeouts to start this drive. They go 4th and 5, an out route to Marvin Jones with Patrick Queen right in his face. Then he hits a 2nd and 10 bender to Christian Kirk. Then he hits a 3rd and 6 out and up to Zay Jones. That was gorgeous. And then a 1st and goal fade ball to Marvin Jones. All of this is tempo. Well, they're lining up. Just go. The touchdown's awesome because they're lining up. It's like 25, 24. The clock's ticking down. And you see him get everyone set. And he glances over at Marvin Jones. And he's like, I'm taking this one-on-one. Like, let's go. Gets the ball. Yeah. He holds the safety and whips it over there. And then he hits the two-point play right on the money to Zay Jones. And it was just like, wow. That's a difference maker at quarterback. His underlying stats have been actually very good this year. He's been top 10 in EPA through most of the year. Obviously, is there at this point. I think he's 8th right now in EPA per dropback. But man, this was the first time where it was like, I can actually point at this and be like, this is him. This is what he's shown. All this good process that he's shown this throughout his year and a half as a starter in the NFL. This was the first time I felt like the results followed and they got a win out of it. It wasn't some loss, to the Chiefs or some loss to the Giants or something like that. This was like the first time where it all came together for him. And it was a special performance by him. And he has all the potential to be a special quarterback.
This was it. Like the exact types of throws where it's whole shots down the sideline, it's benders up the seam. I mean, his ability, the way I described it, it's like a laser show. And what he can do in the intermediate areas of the field. And that's where he's best. That's where you really see the arm get shown off. He doesn't have as big of an arm as some of these other just like out of this world alien quarterbacks that we watch. But in the intermediate areas of the field, it's the same way he was at Clemson. You remember when we were talking about him before the draft and we're just talking about those seam balls that felt like they were rising, in that 10 to 20 yard area? That's what he looks like throwing some of these balls. The ones down the right side, and even the touchdown that he had to Hasty was,
oh my God, that was great.
It was a beautiful play design. I loved about it was empty. It was empty, and they had Kirk, I believe, run a little outbreaker from the number 2 spot, pulled Peters up, and then they had a Hasty down the right sideline. And just the way he throws those balls, where it's 12, 14 yards in the air, intermediate area of the field, and he's got to put just a little bit of touch on it. Those are beautiful throws. And that's a
Yep.
lot of what you saw today. And I just think that if you had faith, which both of us, I believe, did, about the underlying aspects to his game all throughout the season, and you get rid of one back-breaking red zone turnover a game, and you
Yeah.
actually look at what he is playing and play out, these sorts of games are on the table. This is a
Yes.
dude who's 20 games into his career now,
Yep.
almost 25, with the worst imaginable circumstances last year, with
Yep.
circumstances this year that are fine. Like, you just
Fine.
listed off all the guys he's throwing the ball to. It's Evan Ingram and Zay Jones and Christian
Yeah.
Kirk and Jamal Agnew, who was a kick returner for most of his career, and he's still been a firmly above average quarterback.
Yep.
So
Yes.
moments like today shouldn't be at all surprising. And if you're a Jags fan, you can sit here and hold performances like this and just say, all right, like, we got a guy.
There it is.
And
Yep.
I don't think there was any question from either of us that they had a guy after the way he played over the first half of the season. It was more about what the ceiling is.
Yes.
If he's your quarterback, where is he going to fit ultimately in the hierarchy? Can he be one of the guys that has a seat at the table that consistently makes a difference for you week in and week out? And I think games like this are an indication that he absolutely has the potential to get there. And if I root for that team and I'm watching them today, I got to feel pretty damn good about that.
The crowd reactions were awesome. I mean, the Jaguars fans, it was it was like cathartic for them. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is awesome, and we won, like, because they took the lead and then let up a touchdown right away, and you could feel it's like, oh, well, there it is again. Like, it was like the Colts game when they went at Indianapolis, same exact thing. Took the lead, gave it right back up. But that touchdown to Hasty was awesome because it was a classic. I know what you know, what I know, what you know, kind of play from Trevor, because it's a running back the number one spot. Corners, Marcus Peters especially, he's a boomer bust corner, but that's because he knows how to game the system. He sees a running back at number one and he goes, I'm not throwing a go ball to him.
It's
I'm
exactly right.
I'm going to jump this out route. And then there's Trevor going, I know what you know, what I know, what you know. So he just turns that ball over. And I'm glad you bring up those 14 to 20 yard throws and the Zay Jones out and up on the final drive too. If anyone rewatches it, watch how Trevor's balls turn over in the air. That's what's so impressive. That is so hard to do on those types of throws. When you throw a deep ball and you put a lot of loft on it, then it usually turns over. That's what you want to see, guy. That's how you throw a nice spiral, or a guy's throwing a nice spiral and not kind of gaming their arm, is how the ball turns over. That's why the top guys, it's incredible, because like a guy like Justin Herbert will throw it like 62 yards and it like barely turns over because it's still lining to a guy. But his balls, like on those intermediate throws, are just so pretty, because that is so hard to do. And that's why the ball just goes to where he wants it. It was awesome. I was very happy to see him put together a game like that. And then like next year, it's like, yes, they still need some help. Now they get Calvin Ridley, and it's like, ooh, like they can make some magic next year. And I mean, they have a positive point differential. Like, this team is close. Even if the defense is still up and down, like the offense, even with an imperfect weapons around them, the O-line kind of they still are doing like some efficient and some good things, and he's doing some efficient and good things. And now we're starting to see some results on the positive side for him. So it was a statement win for them.
What direction is the arrow pointing? And right now it is firmly pointed up. Like, you didn't even need today. Today is a great moment, and I think it solidifies that fact in a lot of people's minds. But I think we were already heading in that direction. It's just so nice as a fan base, as I'm sure some people who watch this team week in and week out, to have a moment like this to kind of exhale a little bit. But I think that this wasn't some revelation from Trevor Lawrence if you've been watching him all season. This was just a game where it all broke a little bit better than it has at other moments during this season.